show you a lasagna today. It's gluten and dairy free for those of you that can't have gluten or dairy, because cooking with me is gluten free. Anyways, so what you're going to need is you're going to need about 2 packages of brown rice lasagna noodles. They cook for like 7 to 10 minutes in a pot of boiling water. The reason why I use 2 packages, because let's be real, they don't all come out perfect. I'll try and show you some of the ingredients here. So what we have is about 2 cups of spinach, about 1 cup and 3/4 of parsnips, and we have some chopped beans, about 1 cup there, and 1 cup of yellow pepper, and a little bit of baby tomatoes, about 1/4 cup, and finely sliced zucchini, and that's good for layering. So you're going to need about 1 pound of ground meat, or 1 pound of ground turkey. You can use chicken or beef. You can tolerate beef well. You're also going to need a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of salt. Himalayan salt is good too. You're going to need about a jar of, sorry, it's a bit bright, a jar of Simply Naturals organic tomato basil sauce. And what I also like to do is like to add in sauce like a can of beans. You can use navy beans or pinto beans. Also, right now I have some of my lasagna noodles just drying out there. And then I'll show you how to put it all together. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to want to do is to chop up some squash. Once you're going to put it in a pot, you can cook it with chicken stock if you want, or boiling water is fine. Then add a little bit of salt and about a teaspoon of butter, or vegan butter if you need to. And then I add about a teaspoon of brown sugar, and then I just mash it all up. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so I'll show you what we're doing now. And I've been cooking this for a little bit now. So what I did, I cooked the ground turkey at first, just with a little bit of chicken broth, a little bit of canola oil, and I cooked it for about 7 minutes. And then what I did is I added 1 full jar of the Simple Naturals tomato sauce. If you want, if you're someone that wants a little more flavor, you can throw in onions or garlic. It is going to make quite a lot. I also added all the ingredients except for the spinach and zucchini. Cook this on medium heat for about close to 15 minutes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in some parsley. It's about around a cup of parsley. When I'm layering too, I'll leave some out here and leave it fresh, and then I'll layer with it. So you're going to add in your parsley near the end of your cooking time, and then you're going to add in some of your bay leaves as well. And you're going to leave your squash the layering phase. Okay, so you're just going to let that cook down. And like I said, you can use other vegetables as well. What I also did is I added the full can of, I'm cooking with pinto beans, and that will give it a nice flavor. Now the tomato sauce itself has, you know, onions and spices in it already, so it does give it a bit of flavor. Okay, now that we're done cooking on the stove, we're going to start layering. I just started, so I'll just show you what I'm doing here. So you're going to get a 9 by 13 pan, or this is foil. Usually I use glass. And then you're just going to spread out your noodles there. You're also going to open another jar of tomato sauce. And I like to put a little bit of tomato sauce down first, just to make it like a base. And then this is when you're going to put your squash puree on. Now you may run out of some squash puree as you're layering, and that's okay. You can just use tomato sauce as the base. And this is where you're going to start to layer your zucchini. So remember, we didn't cook the zucchini in the pan because they're very thinly sliced and they'll cook in the oven. At this point, you're going to want to put your oven at about 350 degrees and let it preheat. What I also did is I also used a little bit of canola oil to grease my pan here, just so it's easy. Okay, so Just gonna layer some zucchini down, and then you're gonna take some of your spinach, and remember this is not cooked either. We didn't add it in our pan here. It's because they're very thin and they'll bake fine in the oven. And again, it's about around 2 cups of spinach. And what you can do if you have some leftover parsley is you can throw in a little bit of parsley. You're going to go over to your mixture of vegetables and meat, and then you're going to, and as well as your beans in there, and you're just going to spoon it in. And sort of just spread it around. You're going to continue to do those steps for the next layers until you come up to the top there. Okay, so I'm doing another layer here, and I'm just going the opposite way with the noodles, just so that it's a different way. I did put another little layer of tomato sauce on. Again, we're going to layer with our zucchini slices, and of course our spinach, like that, and then we'll put the meat on top. Okay, so we're now at the final steps. So there's a final layer. What I did at the top is I just put a little bit of canola oil on the noodles here, the lasagna noodles, just to keep them a bit moist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with tin foil, just so the top layer doesn't get too hard. And we're going to try and bake that for around 30 to 35 minutes in about a 350-degree oven. And if you do have ingredients left over, like I have a little bit of ingredients over, you can make like a little mini lasagna as well. Okay, so you're going to want to let the lasagna cool for probably just over half an hour before you cut it, otherwise it's probably going to fall apart a bit. And that's about the final product. For someone that doesn't need to be dairy-free, you can by all means add cheese to it, mozzarella or cottage cheese or ricotta cheese. Also, if you are dairy-free but you don't mind using the cheeses that are dairy-free, like Gruyere, you can go ahead and add that in as well before you put it in the oven to bake. I just don't really care for those cheeses, but it's up to you.